Hey guys, this is Rusty and this is my customizable 1:n ratio casino machine. Let me show you how it works. The customer walks up to the machine and sees that he will get a random number between 1 and 15 gold ingots for just 1 diamond. So he throws in his 1 diamond and this time gets 5 gold ingots in return. The machine is smart, so he can also throw in 2 diamonds and he will get just 1 gold ingot from the first transaction and 15 from the second one. And when the machine runs out of stock, it is simply indicated by this lamp right here. The best thing about this design is that you can change the different options of amounts of items the customer gets when he throws in his payment, with up to 9 different options, and you can use some of the options multiple times, so you can increase the chance of the customer getting, for example, just 1 item to get some more profits from the machine. The whole machine has 2 main components to make it work. The first one is this simple Shulker Box randomizer, which, when activated by a signal of exactly 3 redstone ticks, will spit out a random Shulker Box from this dropper. Then will read the signal strength of the items of the Shulker Box and give it out, as well as instantly remove the Shulker Box once again and put it back into the dropper. The second main circuit is this one, which will activate the output a certain amount of times according to the signal strength it is given. Like this Shulker Box right here, which gives out the signal strength of 6. So if I hook these 2 circuits together, leave just 2 options in the randomizer, the first one of getting 3 items and the second one of getting 5. And I activate the system, you can see that the first time I get 3 items and the second time I get 5. And if we look at our machine, we have this hopper that is almost filled, just 1 item left. Then we have this comparator reading from the hopper, which has a redstone block next to it, so that it gives out an output only when the hopper is completely filled. And when that happens, this observer below it activates this piston, which pushes this observer in front of this node block, which will activate it and in turn activate this observer right here, where we can see our Shulker Box randomizer system, which goes directly into the second circuit I showed you, which then activates our output dropper. We also have this little redstone line down here, so when the machine stops shooting out items, it sends a signal through here, deactivating this torch in the front for a short moment, letting 1 item through and resetting the whole machine. Because this hopper right here once again is missing 1 item. And what about the rest of the machine? Well, this part right here is there to indicate when the casino has run out of stock, because then this comparator turns off, which turns off this redstone dust and in turn turns off this redstone lamp. Which leaves us with just this part to explain, which I added because there was an issue with the hopper. When the player threw in multiple items at once, the hopper would let through 1 item when we deactivate the torch, but that 1 item will instantly get replaced by the next items. So the machine would get stuck with this observer right here still being extended and not activating the node block once again for the second transaction. So we have this part, which after some delay, when we deactivate the torch and let 1 item through, we try to activate the observer right here once again if we still have some transaction to process. So this part pretty much adds the ability to throw in multiple items at once. And now we get to the tutorial. So start by digging an 8x3 hole, just like this, and extend that to be 3 blocks deep in total. Now in the front place 2 hoppers going towards the back, a chest under the first hopper, and another hopper under the second one pointing into that chest. Above the second top hopper, place a redstone lamp, and above it, a dropper facing towards the front. This will be the front of your machine. Behind that redstone lamp, place a full block with a comparator on top of it, reading from the dropper, and going into another solid block, below which place a redstone dust on top of a slab. For better visibility, I will continue building in the air by adding an observer facing down next to this bottom hopper, and on top of it a comparator reading from the other hopper, with a redstone block next to it. Now below that observer, place a sticky piston with another observer facing towards the front, and if that sticky piston extends, we want that observer to activate a node block right here, from which go up with an observer pointing into a block, and from that block go out with a repeater set to 3 ticks. Now in front of the repeater, place a dropper facing up, and on top of it, a dispenser facing towards the back. Then add a hopper pointing into the bottom dropper, and a comparator reading from the empty block, going into a full block with redstone dust on top of it. Then a target block above the comparator, and a piston next to the target block facing down, so that it can later break the Shulker Box. And now a quick word from the sponsor of this video, me! Yeah, who did you think would sponsor this kind of stuff? But anyway, I just wanted to tell you that I put a lot of time and effort into making these videos for you guys. So I would love it if you would help me by clicking that little button with the thumbs up. But now let's get back to the video. Next, add 4 more blocks just like this, with 2 redstone dust right here, and 2 comparators like this, the first one going in this direction and the other one going the other one. Next, add 5 blocks just like this in this L shape, and 3 solid blocks. The first one in front of this comparator, the second one next to this block, and the third one next to the output dropper. Then place a comparator between these 2 blocks and set it to subtract mode by right-clicking on it. You should see the little light in the front turn on. Now right here, add 2 redstone dust, then a comparator, and finally a repeater in front of it to power the output dropper. After that, go back to this full block and leave a 1 block gap, and below that place another full block with redstone dust on top of it and a redstone torch on its side, just like this. Then below that torch, place another redstone dust with a sticky piston facing up next to the block it is placed on, with a solid block on its face. Behind that piston, place a repeater set to 2 ticks going into a redstone dust that is pointing into a full block with a redstone torch on the other side, powering the hopper in the front. And for the last part of the machine, grab 4 observers and have them running, the first one from this repeater, the second one from that going towards the back, the third one going from that down, and the last one going towards the front, into a node block, above which you can place some kind of a block or maybe just a regular torch to prevent it from making any unnecessary sounds. An optional part of the machine that you can add is a simple hopper lock that will prevent the players from throwing in any payment items when the shop has run out of stock. And for that, grab a full block and place it next to this redstone dust in the front, right here, and on its side place a redstone torch, below which place a redstone dust and a repeater going into a full block next to this hopper. Another optional thing that you can add to the machine are some sounds. So if we grab some node blocks and place the first one down here with an emerald block under it, because that, I think, makes the sound that is most suited for this kind of machine. And the second node block we place instead of this block right here, once again with an emerald block below it. And we tune this one to the highest tone by right-clicking on it 24 times. You can check this in the F3 screen right here. So we want to get this number to 24. And now if we use the machine, you can hear that the machine makes some happy sounds when it gives out some items and a sad sound when it stops. Now to configure the casino machine, grab some shulker boxes, one for each of the options you want to have. Place them down and fill them according to the options you want them to represent. So I want this machine to have one option of giving the player one item, then another option of giving the player 15 items, and the last one to give the player 5 items, but I want that to be more likely than the other ones, so I will create 2 options for that, so that the machine chooses this option more often, because it will choose between these shulker boxes at random, so I'll have a 50% chance to get 5 items, 25% chance to get 1 item, and 25% chance to get 15 if I configure the machine this way. And to assign the numbers to the shulker boxes, grab some non-stackable items and fill each of the shulker boxes according to this table. So I want the first option to be just 1 item, so I'll put 1 item into the shulker box. Then into the second shulker box I want that to be the option of getting 15 items, so I will have to fill the entire shulker box with non-stackable items. And for the last 2 shulker boxes, I want them both to represent 5 items, so I will fill both of them up with 8 non-stackable items. Now just grab all of your shulker boxes and place them into this dropper right here. Don't place it in the dispenser above, but into the dropper below it. Now to set the item you want the customer to pay with, go to this hopper in the front, fill its first slot with 63 items that you want the customer to pay with, and fill the rest of the slots with any non-stackable items. Then just go up here and fill the output dropper with the items you want the customer to receive. You can always add a hopper with a chest for some more storage if you're, for example, giving the player non-stackable items. And if you don't want players accessing the dropper in the front, you can add some glow lichen or maybe some ladders on the face of the dropper. And now our machine is completely functional. So if I go ahead and throw in 5 diamonds, you can see that I'm getting all of the different options we set up at random. And here we also have our 15. And now a few final notes about the design. It sadly does not work on Bedrock Edition, because of some actions taking different amounts of time. Next, if you're having problems building this, that's about everything I wanted to show you. So if you like this design, definitely leave a like, placing down a chain of them, placing some items in the first one and seeing if they go through one by one through the second one and not clumping up. And if you're still encountering problems, check if all the containers have the right permission if your server automatically locks containers. A way to fix this for one of the most common plugins is the command /chopper on and then right clicking on your containers. I'm mainly talking about this dropper and the dispenser above it. But you can do the same for all of the other containers. And if you're having any other problems, you can try contacting me any other way, but I cannot guarantee that I will be able to help you, because of some servers modifying their redstone behaviors in order to save on lag.